boy? It's Wild Drew, and in this video I'm going to come at you with 5 things I think you should consider before going out and purchasing a fish tank. 5 things you should think about before getting your first fish tank. Okay, number 1. What fish do I want to keep? Okay, this is a good thing to start out with because you don't want to get into a fish that's going to be too complicated, too expensive, and too much heartache to get started with. You don't want something that's going to make you want to leave the hobby before you even really get started. So when you're going into setting up your fish tank, really consider, what fish do I want? Research the fish. Figure out, can you take care of this fish? Can you afford this fish? Is this something that you want to pursue? Okay, and sometimes you're gonna pick a fish that you might not necessarily can start out with. It's not going to be a very good beginner fish. So you need to go in and figure out, what fish can I start out with that could potentially lead me to getting the fish that I actually wanted. Okay, so you need to consider a lot of these things before going out and getting the tank. Okay, when it comes to picking the fish, you also got to figure out, where are you going to get these fish from? Okay, and you need to think about quality of the fish. All right, you don't want to go out and trust me, this has happened to me one too many times. I'm gonna make another video about this, about stocking the tank. Going out and getting a sick fish, you don't want to go out and get a sick fish right off the bat. That's not going to be a whole lot of fun, especially you go to one of these guys who don't even give you a 2-week or 48-hour guarantee on the fish. Okay, so a lot of times it's, you buy the fish, if there's anything health wise wrong with it, it's on you. Okay, so you need to take that also in consideration too. So researching the fish store before you actually go out and get the fish. All right, number 2, tank size. All right, tank size. Most beginner starter kits start from like a gallon, or even some of the beta beginner tanks, they start out like a gallon and a half, and I think like the biggest will go up to about a 55 gallon as a starter kit. I would not go any smaller or any bigger than a 20 gallon. You can do a 10 gallon. I'm not saying don't do a 10 gallon, especially for you kids out there. 10 gallons are cool. I'm just saying a 20 gallon, you're going to have more success with the 20 gallon, because most of the fish that I'm going to suggest are going to range between a 30 gallon and a 10 gallon tank. So take that into consideration. Tank size is a very big part of it, and I think a lot of people try to either go smaller or too big too fast. All right, so stay away from either too small or too big of a tank. Stick to like a medium. Honestly, I'd suggest like a 30 gallon, but I think a 20 gallon is probably the most reasonable, the most affordable, and the most accessible tank you can get. Okay, I know, wink wink, the big box store, one of the most popular box stores I think a lot of people go to, the C to the O, you know, they have the $1 a gallon sale, and it's going on all the time. I think they have it at least twice a year, usually once in the winter around the holiday times, and then another one in the summer around 4th of July, around that area. Depends, just always go in and check and see if they have the deal going on. So with that said, another thing to consider, stay away from like the starter glow kit setups. I'm not a fan of those, and I'm not a fan of the beta ones, and I'm not a fan of these, you know, desk top fish tanks, unless you're gonna keep shrimp or something in it. I don't suggest, as a beginner, I really don't think that's a somewhere where you want to start out is keeping shrimp and some of the other stuff. So stay away from like those glow tanks, like those 5-gallon glow tanks or like the 10-gallon glow tanks. Stay away from some of that stuff. I think a big thing with the glow tank, it's a lot of hype and you're not going to have as much fun as you think with it. So stay away from those starter kits. Like I said, stick to about a 20 or a 30-gallon. I know they have the $1 per gallon sale. Go check that out. Or even getting like a 10-gallon starter kit or you know, a 29-gallon or whatever starter kit. Start out with one of those. I think you're gonna have a lot more success with them, and you'll be a lot more happy with them. And it might, in the long run, it might even be a little bit cheaper than getting the glow light. And to be honest, it is all hype. There's some stuff that you could do and make your own little glow tank without wasting money on their stupid setup. Number 3 on the list is, where are you going to place your fish tank? Where are you going to place your fish tank? So you need to think about, A, where is somewhere that has good heating and cooling and good ventilation, good airflow and good lighting. Okay, then you need to think about what outlet or socket that you want to use to power the fish tank. You need to think about this before you go and get a tank. So you got to find the outlet, you got to find a good area where you're gonna put it, and you want to go from there. Okay, see the 14-gallon over there? Share a little thing. One of the main reasons why I picked this area is because it doesn't get a whole lot of ambient light, but it does get some in the morning, so it allows the fish to wake up more naturally, and it's not just bam, the light turns on and we're going. All right, so my lights don't turn on until about noon. All right, so it gives them the morning to wake up. The other thing, when I was talking about the outlet, see back here, that would be like a rat's nest, and I don't trust that outlet whatsoever. So I'm really scared about, you know, accidentally causing a fire. You got to think about that. You got to think about, you know, if you're to have some type of overflow or somehow water gets down there from a leak or an accident, or, you know, something happens, you don't want to accidentally cause a fire in your house setting up a fish tank. So really really think about where you're going to place your tank. It's very important. All right, coming in at number 4, all right, how much time and money do you want to invest into the hobby? All right, so you got to think about scheduling, you know, your water changes, you know, you gotta think about, you know, water changes, medication, food, you know, replacing filters, what fish you want to get. So really, you really want to think about how much money you want to invest into it. How much time do you really want to put into it? You know, with setting up your schedule to do water changes and, you know, everything that you need to do husbandry wise to the tank, that it's not taking up too much time and it's not taking up too much money, and that it's something that it's enjoyable, and that you're going to be able to progress and grow with the hobby and just have an all-around good experience with fish keeping and getting into fish keeping. So number 5 would be, how do I get started setting up my tank? How do I want to go about this? How am I going to go and get the materials that I need to set the tank up? So you got to take this in consideration. Getting a fish tank is much like growing a garden or planting a tree. It's not something that's just going to happen overnight, and that a lot of times it's best just to part some of the stuff out. So in my next video, I'm going to be talking about the 10 things that I think you need to start a fish tank before actually going and purchasing the fish or the fish tank. These are some things that will help you troubleshoot problems later on in the hobby if they do occur, like medicating and quarantine and getting ready to do water changes and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that video. Until next time, stay salty, crew. Deuces. I'm out.